Hey, it's been a while. Here's another story time. I'm gonna be talking about coming out or figuring out how I came to be bisexual and all that fun stuff. This story really doesn't have like a start. There's always been, I'm gonna jump in between timelines. There is a time where I did realize what the fuck I was, but it took me further to realize how or what the right word was for that time. Because at a young age, I've always known, but it was never like I knew the word. It was just like I knew what I liked, but I didn't know what the phrase was. And even as a young kid, I knew I wasn't like 100% perfect. Not that being straight is like a perfect, but like I knew I wasn't straight pretty much. You know, a part of me knew I liked the same sex or I desired that, but I couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was. And for a while, I did ignore it. I think I was like, middle school, I would just like be like, nah, I'm fine. Like, no, I like girls. It's whatever. And I've dated like 3 in middle school, and not the same time, like different periods, but it was just kind of like ignoring the fact or whatever. Then by the time high school started, I was getting curious and I was getting these feelings, and I'm like, okay, I'm actually having to face this. But going back to when I was 13, I was talking to my friend at the time who later became one of my girlfriends at the time, and she came out to me. I was like, hey, I'm bisexual. I was like, oh, what the fuck does that mean? And she's pretty much was like, oh, it means I like girls and guys, but like I prefer being with guys more than girls or whatever. And I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting, I never heard about it. And then I googled that whole thing, and then once I read into it, and I was kind of like, that's what the fuck I was, because I never liked being identified as gay, because that was never 100% me. But at the same time, I don't like using the identity as straight, because I knew I wasn't straight either. And the thing too is like I didn't give a fuck about how I'm labeled as, really. To me, it didn't offend me if someone called me like gay, faggot, or whatever. So going back to that whole thing, and also I remember to have crushes, but it was like fucking weird because I would never, well, not that I would never, I couldn't really go after these people because these people would never have the same feelings back, even if they were. The only person that really wanted to reciprocate those feelings was like a friend, but at the time I was still trying to figure out what the fuck I wanted, and he wasn't like a great friend at the time either. At the time, like I knew I couldn't go for it because I knew I was gonna be hurt at the end, and it was not worth it, and I would rather have kept the friendship. It didn't matter in the end because I cut him off after that whole thing by freshman year. Then I got confused again when I was a sophomore year in high school, because I like the biggest crush on one of my best friends. I was fucking stupid at the time, but yeah, for whatever reason that confusion came back. Then like junior year came and I was like, nah, that is my identity. The problem too is like because of my sexuality, I'm always constantly trying to find someone, and my senior year my whole goal was to basically find my high school sweetheart, which I never got succeeded in because I would constantly get myself friend zoned by all these guys and girls, which isn't lit, but whatever, that fucking happened. I remember with prom I had like a mental breakdown because I couldn't find a date, and I had to get over that. You know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna go by myself. I'm not gonna give a fuck about finding a date. I'm not gonna fucking care anymore. Just gonna go by myself, follow my friends, and that'd be it. And I remember I joined the GSA in my school for the whole purpose of trying to see if I could start a relationship with a guy, just to see how that would play out. But my school didn't have fucking options at the time because everybody was either not the same age as me, was younger than me, or we didn't have vibes that conflicted. Although like later I would have feelings for one of my friends. Like I can't really say much about it because it was just basically all the feelings I had were just all in my head, and like I don't know, I always had doubts. And the problem is like I never really, I don't know, at the time, like I couldn't really face these doubts. Like I remember there was one time there was this event, and he knows who he is. At the time like of the event, I was trying to give him hints, be like, hey, because I didn't know if I was supposed to make the move or he was supposed to make the move, but I just knew I couldn't not do much. It just didn't seem possible, like at all, because at the time I thought, what's the point? I'm gonna move away, or I'm not gonna be in this town that much anymore. So I just let it go. And then months later we would try to date, and then it didn't happen. We tried again months later, same thing didn't happen, and it's because of me not doing great with communication. And I've had that same problem with all these relationships. because I just suck at communicating. I'm not on my phone all the time, or not even that I'm not on my phone all the time. It's just like I'm not great at being clear with the messages I send, and the thing too is I hesitate too much with what I do. Like I'm not sure what the other person is comfortable with, so I don't do my best to try to be like attentive or be like, oh, what you need, or do you want me to do it like this, or and even when it comes to things with what I need, like the whole reason why that whole hookup thing happened. Well, I don't even know if I even talked about it, but I got hurt at one point, and it was because I wasn't communicating. I wasn't like, no, don't do it like that. You have to be fucking gentle with it. And it's always been like that. It's never been with what I did, but whatever. I'm going off a tangent. So like that whole thing figuring out and the coming out process wasn't like, it was one of those things where it was like you either make it a big deal out of it or you didn't. And I kind of did make a big deal out of it, but I did it like slowly to a couple of my family members. Like the first person I told was like my niece, but like I didn't care. Like when I told her, like I knew she'd be fine with it. Then I told my sisters. Then I told my mom, but she was like, it was one of those things where she didn't like. It wasn't like she didn't take it great. It was just more like she didn't understand. She was like, what? She was like, you can't be gay and straight at the same time. It's one or the other. And I'm like, well, I'm telling you, I am both. It can fuck either or, get married with either or. It don't matter to me. So, and then she didn't realize that until like I started actually dating, and like, oh my god, that's a story for another day. But fuck, like it just, I don't know, the coming out process wasn't really like there. But figuring out is what's been kind of interesting. Like now I'm more comfortable with it, but it's like weird because now I'm not even trying to, like now I am still like dating, I guess, but it's not like I'm trying to find one. But if I do, it's not going to be in a time where I expect it. And I've come to accept that, I guess. I don't know if I'll put more to this, but just like, I don't know. But I just remembered like the whole coming out thing. I think the one time I got frustrated with people, like I remember in middle school, people kept asking me if I was gay, and it got to the point where like I would just tell people so they will stop asking me. Like once you give them an answer that they want, they will just stop asking you. Even if you're not gay, just say you are and they'll stop talking to you. Like I'm serious, that's all it takes really. If you fit the stereotype, you might as well fucking do it. I remember in high school, this one guy that I didn't fuck with would constantly joke around with me, or like, and I just wanted him to stay away from me. I knew he was like low-key homophobic, so I just did something that was like kind of gay, and he wouldn't fuck with me anymore. And it was fucking great. Like seriously, that's all it fucking took to get these bitches to get off your back. That was like the only good parts of it, I guess. But the bad parts was just not there. I don't know what to say, so I guess this is the end. Whatever gameplay I put, you'll see it or hear it. Try my best with editing. See how that goes. But he's not my son. Yeah.